Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laetitia, and in today's video I wanted to share my postpartum experience, so if you're interested, keep on watching. So yeah, in today's video I just wanted to not give you tips or tricks or things to buy or anything. I just wanted to share my experience now that I'm 5 months postpartum, just to maybe help you relate if you're going through the same thing, or maybe help you get ready for what may happen to you when you give birth. So if you're in one of those, or if you're just interested and curious, just keep on watching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what happened to me when it comes to my body, and then I'm going to share everything regarding what happened to me in my mind and my mental health. So when it comes to my body, wow, of course, so many changes. You know, before being pregnant and of course before giving birth, I thought all of these things would be so important to me, but honestly, when you become a mom, you change so much and your priorities shift. And at least for me, I know that lots of women have a hard time with it, but for me, all those changes really don't matter too much. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about them, but I hope that it's not too bad for you and that you're able to just see it with a different perspective, because all that matters is that you're healthy and your baby's healthy, honestly. So the first thing is my weight loss, or my weight. So when I was pregnant, and even before getting pregnant, like my mom always told me, when you'll get pregnant, don't get too big, you don't need to gain more than 10 kilograms. Mid second trimester I had gained 9 kilograms. So my midwife said, you're gonna gain more weight, get ready for it, and it's okay. So it was kind of hard for me at first, but you know what, it just happened. Like, I really tried to keep it under control, but my body needed to gain more, and by the end I had gained 19 kilograms. So that's even outside of the normal. They say it's like 12 to 16 kilograms that you should gain, and I gained 19. I think most of the weight that I gained that was like outside of the normal was during my first trimester, when I was trying to keep nausea under control, and the only tip that actually helped was just eat something. So I tried to eat, and I ate bread a lot. That was the only thing that would keep it under control, and I think for that reason I gained a little bit too much weight during my first trimester. By the end I had gained 19 kilograms, and I was just so devastated. I was like, how am I gonna lose that weight? When I had my baby, I did not want to get onto the scale. It was like a mixed feeling of not caring that much and also being scared of what I would see. So I didn't get on the scale until I was 8 weeks postpartum, and at that point I had lost 14.5 kilograms. So I was like, okay, well, I have not done anything to lose that weight. That's good. So basically I had like 4.5 kilograms to lose to get back to my old weight, and I didn't get back on the scale for another 2 weeks. And then when I was 2 months and a half, like something like that, I went back onto the scale and I had lost 2 more kilograms. So I had only 2.5 kilograms to lose at that point, and I thought, well, whatever, I don't care anymore. Like, I feel fine, and I just didn't feel like working out at all. I didn't have the strength or the will to work out, and I didn't want to affect my milk supply, so I didn't change anything with my diet. So basically I have not weighed myself in like 3 months, something like that, and I don't really care anymore. I will get back to where I was, and I think I will even get back to where I used to be when I was a little bit slimmer, but for now this is not my priority. I'm just trying to keep my milk supply going, feel good, and I've just, you know, started being more active. I started walking every day back then, but I was not able to walk very fast. I was not able to walk very long distances, and now I feel so much better. I can walk faster, and I just want to take my time, you know. I've seen some women starting working now like at 6 weeks postpartum, and I'm like, why? I mean, if you feel better by yourself that way, then that's a good reason. But for me, I didn't feel like I was that different. Even my husband was like, I mean, it doesn't look like you gave birth. I mean, I see that you've changed a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. And I don't feel bad about my appearance that much. So yeah, I'll go back to working out when I don't want my milk supply to be that high anymore, when I don't care that much. And yeah, but I try to eat healthy. That's something I want to do, especially because I'm breastfeeding. I don't want my baby to like get bad stuff in the milk, so I try to be careful. Sometimes I'll just have McDonald's or something. I don't want to go crazy, but overall I try to eat healthy. So that's it for the weight. The next one is stretch marks. That one, I'm not gonna lie, was extremely important to me. Growing up, I saw that my mom's belly was very affected by stretch marks, and I always promised myself that I would do everything in my power not to gain stretch marks during pregnancy. So every day since I learned that I was pregnant, I moisturized my skin in the morning and before going to bed. I would put some cream, and then I would put some oil, then I would put some butter. So I used different oils, different things that were supposed to really help. And honestly, until I left work for my mat leave when I was 36 plus 3 days, I had no stretch marks. So I was like, yay, like it's working, it's working. But then 3 days in my mat leave, I noticed one thing that looked like a stretch mark. So I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh my gosh, it is a stretch mark. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? So I put some oil on it. I was going crazy. It was so important to me back then, and I kept at it, just hydrating my skin. And I even did it like at lunchtime just to be sure. But stretch marks just started gaining some territory on my belly, and by the time of my birth I had gained quite a bit of stretch marks, and I was devastated, honestly. It's not the same as weight loss, because I was like, wait, you can just do something about it, whereas stretch marks, I felt like it was kind of a death sentence. Like once they're there, there's nothing you can do. So I felt really, really bad, but you know, that's the way it is. And I looked everywhere on the internet to find a product that could help with stretch marks, and I found a product, I'm just going to put it here, from Paula's Choice, and I applied it for, I think, for the first 4 months, and my stretch marks are honestly barely noticeable. Like I can see them, but it's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. I think the product must have helped, but I can't really know for sure. But I will use the same product next time, to be honest, just to be sure. So yeah, they are barely noticeable compared to other stretch marks that I have on other parts of my body that I gained before my pregnancy. They are barely noticeable, so I'm pretty happy about that. But you know, I wish I would have not had any, but it is what it is. They gave me my precious baby, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. So the next thing is the linea negra. So that one, it happened during pregnancy, of course, and then it stayed quite dark, I think, for the first 2 months. So after 2 months, I was like, I don't care, like whatever, we'll see what happens. And now that I'm 5 months post, it's barely noticeable anymore. It's barely noticeable, so it will go away, I guess. Just give it time, okay? But I didn't really pay attention to it, and now I can barely see it. So yeah, I don't know why they call it linea negra. It literally means black line. Like, why not say black line? I don't know. But that's it for this one. By the way, also really for darker skins, especially black people, but my belly was super dark. It still is, to be honest, but I would say it's like halfway there, like where it used to be. But at first it was very, very dark, but it it gets better with time. So if you have dark skin, maybe that will happen to you. I've seen other women on YouTube that show their body and it was kind of the same, so just get ready for that. It will get better, but it does take time. I'm 5 months in and it's still pretty dark. The last thing is my hair loss. So for the first 3 months I was surprised that my hair was staying the same. It was still very full. I had no hair loss during pregnancy. It was absolutely magical, especially since I've been growing my hair out. So I was like, whoa, this is pretty, this is so beautiful. And then 3 months in, my hair stayed, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna get any hair loss. Yeah, right. Let me tell you, 4 months in, my hair started shedding in clumps, and they all like, it's so weird because the back of my hair, even the crown, is shedding pretty normally, but as you get into the front, especially the edges, it's absolutely insane the amount of hair I've lost. Like, I don't know if you can see, but like all that part on my edges, gone. So I was a little bit bummed out about that, but you know, it'll grow back. It's okay, it's just the edges. It's a little annoying because it's so visible. Like, I can't even hide it because my hair isn't long enough yet, but you know, it is what it is, and I still had 9 months of amazing growth, so I can't complain. So this is it for my body. Let me know if you went through postpartum and you had any other things happen to you during postpartum. I would love to know. But now let's move on to the mental health part. So right after I gave birth to my baby, I would say I was extremely hormonal. I don't know if it was the baby blues, but I cried several times every day. And it was not like sad cries most of the times. It was just like overwhelmed, and just seeing my daughter and being so in love with her. Like, I would listen to a song and I would be like, oh my gosh, I so love you, and I would just start bawling, and it was just, I didn't know how to stop. I cried every single day for the first 2 weeks. Like, I cried. I would try to get her to sleep and it was hard, and I would cry, and like, just the hormones are crazy, guys. So get those tissues ready because you're gonna need them. Yeah, I don't know if that was baby blues, but I would say I've been pretty lucky, at least until now. I know that postpartum depression can start much later, but for now, I have not felt that. I've had depression before, so I kind of know what it is, and honestly, I have not felt that way. I don't know how it is to have PPD, and I hope I'll never know, but if this is something you've been through, maybe this is the time to let us know what it is, and maybe it can help you out just to talk about those feelings. But for now, I have not had that, and I'm praying to God that I don't have that ever, because it's just so much happiness. And that's the next thing. It's the overwhelming joy and happiness that comes. To me, postpartum has more about that than anything else. It's been about all the joy and happiness that having my baby, knowing that I was able to have that natural birth that I always wanted, that my baby is healthy, that I get to breastfeed her, just the best feelings in the world. Postpartum, that's what it is to me, to be honest. Like, weight loss, hair loss, all those things don't matter that much compared to the overwhelming joy that my baby brings in my life. And it's part of the experience. And I feel like sometimes we talk about postpartum as something that's kind of negative, and unfortunately it can be for some of us, but I think for most of us it's just, you finally have that beautiful answered prayer that's just right there on your chest, and it's the most beautiful thing, and that's definitely something I've experienced, and I hope that every woman experience that. The next thing is isolation and loneliness. So for me, lots of changes happened in the last 2 years. So I moved to a foreign country where I have no family and I had no friends. Then when she was born, we moved to a new town. So I didn't know the town, I didn't know anybody in that town. to go, and in the city where I used to live I would have to take the car and it would be kind of a hassle. And also she was born in June, so we went through several heat waves during the summertime, and having a newborn, you don't want to get out when there's a heat wave. So basically I stayed home all the time for the first 3 months, and honestly that was quite difficult. I would go out and just have a walk every other day or every day, but you go out and there's nobody in the street because everybody's at work. You know, you're on mat leave, and when you go out you don't see anybody, and you know, you don't necessarily go out all the time at the same time because you're trying to establish a routine. So you just go when you can, when you feel like it, and you're not necessarily going to, you know, see anybody outside, or if you see somebody maybe you won't see them the next day. And it felt very lonely for me at first. Now it's a bit better because her wake windows are bigger, it's fall time, so we don't have heat waves anymore. It's a little easier, but it's still difficult to get out of the house, and still difficult to go into the city with a baby. Like, I haven't taken the subway with her, and I don't want to take the car, and I don't know, it's difficult, but it's still an adjustment. It'll get easier with time, but it can be a little bit isolating, especially if you're in my situation. I guess if I had my family and my friends around it would be much better, but for me in my situation it's been quite hard, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still figuring out how to feel good about that. Hopefully I'll be able to make a video about that when I have figured it out, and when I feel, you know, great about my social life and stuff. And the last thing, guys, of course, tiredness. I'm a very active and energetic person, and I'm like a morning person and everything, but honestly those nights, especially during the first 2 months, wow, it's such an adjustment, such an adjustment. I remember one night she was cluster feeding. My nipples were so sensitive and I couldn't take it anymore, and I was like, husband, please go and buy me some pacifiers. And I was so anti-pacifiers. Also, my daughter does not take them, so it didn't really help. But I remember that day, I felt so tired. I just wanted to take the baby and push her away. And I was like, oh my gosh, how can I think that? This is my baby. But I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted, and I had never known that level of exhaustion. So yeah, tiredness is definitely something that will come with postpartum. You're gonna learn how to deal with it, to be honest. Like, I've learned how to deal with it. And also your baby will, you know, start sleeping better as time goes on. But the thing is, they need to eat. Like, at first they need to eat so much. They need to, like, they're in survival mode, guys. They're so tiny. For that reason I had to be on survival mode as well. It was really difficult at first, but it's getting better. It's getting definitely better. By the way, I will share a video about sleep, about what I do for sleep, our sleep arrangement. So if you're interested, I will link it somewhere once it's made. But yeah, guys, these are all the things that I've experienced in the last 5 months. Let me know if there's something that I have not mentioned when it comes to body or mental health. Mention it in the comment section. That way we can help other women out, and maybe we can relate to each other and feel less isolated. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.